People tell us every week that our information has helped save their life. If you agree that this is helpful information, please like, share, and most of all, subscribe, because nothing makes a channel like subscriptions.
Can you provide some details about the details of how to do HIIT? The only details I have heard is to do 45 seconds at a pace which gets me out of breath, then 30 seconds at a more sustainable pace. In fact, I think 1 minute is a little bit more realistic. If you've heard of Tabatas, T-A-B-A-T-S, Tabatas are a good form of high-intensity intervals. What I usually tell people is a couple of things. Number one, you want to get your larger muscle mass involved with this. Why do you want to do this in the first place? One of the big challenges with ongoing aging and especially insulin resistance, whether it's just prediabetes or diabetes, is you start to lose that interaction, that microvasculature of the muscle tissue. Microvasculature of muscle tissue is what gives you the safety bypass for aging insulin receptors, because metabolically active muscles don't require insulin receptors to pull glucose into the muscle where they're safe and out of the bloodstream where it can burn that glycocalyx. One of the most important accomplishments for high-intensity interval work is that it improves that microvasculature of the muscles. So when you think about that, then you really want to get the large muscles, the thighs especially, the hips, the calves. These are muscles that large muscle mass for most people, unless you have paraplegia, and therefore significant opportunity to increase the capillaries interface with that muscle tissue. So that's number one, work on that lower body. Number two, I typically recommend keeping it very, very simple. A minute of hard work. You can look at pulse rates too. Unless you're on things like beta blockers, most of us try to get to a pulse rate at least 115 or higher. I'm 65, but I've continued to maintain a fairly high level of conditioning. So like a lot of my patients, I'll routinely hit the 150s in terms of pulse rate during my intense phase, that 1 minute of really just running hard. And what I do typically, I've done other things, but for the most part, I'll get a treadmill and do hill intervals. You think the incline up and run up a hill for a minute, hard. And then slow down. A real fast walk, like a 4 mile per hour walk, that's like a 15-minute walk. And usually with that same incline, sometimes drop the incline. That is one interval. So 1 minute of intense phase, 1 minute of sort of a resting phase. That's one interval. Start with 3 if you've not done these before, and then work up to usually no more than 10. And when you're doing just 3, you can do 3 sessions per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever your schedule works for you. Once you work up to 10, I would not do it 3 times a week. I would do it twice a week. And a lot of people say, no, I do these 5 times a week. If you're doing them 5 times a week, you're either going to get just totally worn out and your tissues are going to be too broken up, worn down to where you're not feel good, or you're not doing enough intensity. So usually you don't really want to increase the phases. You don't need to go 5-minute or 30-minute at quote intensity, because you can't get that level of intensity and maintain it that long. Just keep it at the 1 minute intense phase, the 1 minute resting phase, and get up, max out at about 10 and 2 sessions of those per week. And when you get better at it, crank up the elevation, crank up the intensity of the intense phase.